Good evening and a very warm welcome back to the 750 Motor Club Winter Sim Championship presented by Grid Finder. Apologies for the delay in getting started. We had some technical troubles behind the scenes, but we are good to go just in time for the start of Race 1. It's the second race weekend of the season, or race day of the season, I should say. It is the Formula V's at the Silverstone National layout. So, following on from the Mazda MX-5s at Brands Hatch on the Indy layout a couple of weeks ago, the second meeting of the season represents the Sustained Fuels Formula Vee Championship, where a significant portion of the field has been running on synthetic fuels thanks to our title sponsor at Sustained Fuels, as well as a number of radicals and other cars in other championships. So the cars, the Beetle-based 1300cc VW-engined machines, free chassis design, largely Beetle-based components, and still the most cost-effective route into single-seater racing. Matt Harbot, the champion of the Real World 2025 Championship, but here tonight we have got our various sim racing drivers, which is a combination of some sim experts, but also a modicum of Real World 750 Motor Club racers, including the championship leader Trafford King, who leads by 17 points going into tonight's action after 2 victories at the opening night of racing in races 1 and 3. It is James King who trails him by those 17 points, with Tortalla in third position, a real-world star in Formula Vee competition, not only in the UK but also in South Africa. So one would expect him to be a fairly rapid driver so far for the night. 3 races to come this evening, as it was for the opening meeting at Brands Hatch. 15-minute races, with race 1 the normal format, with the result from qualifying setting the grid. Then we have a top 10 reverse grid race based off of the race 1 result, and then the third and final race based off of the race 2 result. 30 points for the win. And after this we will be heading to Snetterton for the Clio Sports Championship before moving on to a 45-minute endurance round with the MX-5s again at Alton Park, then to Navarra with the BMW M2, and then rounding things out at Silverstone on the Grand Prix layout that time for the Radical Club Challenge. Slight treat for us tonight, which is that the defending champion Jake Hewlett joins us once again tonight, and he's put it on pole position ahead of Noah Osbaldeston, who set pole position in the MX-5s at Brands Hatch last time out. And although Noah Osbaldeston managed to get a podium finish, a weekend or a race day where it didn't quite manage to get everything out of the car. Was in the battle for the lead, was taken out in race 1, and then had various other calamities while he tried to make his way back through the field. Championship leader Trafford King starting down in 6th position for the first race of the night. We'll keep an eye out on his progress as we go along. It's 28 cars that will take the start. It's Jake Hewlett and Noah Osbaldeston on the front row of the grid. Then Alex Stockton and Daniel Perry on the second row of the grid. Tortalla and Trafford King, followed by Jackson Carden, James Ellis, Stanley Rolfe and James King completing the top 10. Then Luca Monroe in his Formula EV livery. And then Paul Forsyth, Arjun Salon, Mark Crawford and Andrew Cooper completing the top 15. No Ross Lorem tonight. I wouldn't normally be mentioning an absent driver, but he is currently in the hospital awaiting his baby boy. So all the best to Ross Lorem and family tonight. We'll be thinking of you as we go racing. With Jake Hewlett, the Type R Trophy racer and reigning sim champion, is on pole position with Alex Stockton, the 31-year-old from York, who was a key contender in last season's championship. So the pace car leading the field away. Jake Hewlett is keeping very tight to the rear of the safety car. see him in that number 92 machine. It's actually Noah Osbaldeston, the number 4 car, that is going very, very closely. Seeing if Jake Hewlett is even there on the grid. It's actually very hard to see if he is indeed there. I was surprised to see Jake Hewlett on the list at all. Hopefully he hasn't had some sort of catastrophic failure. I do believe he actually had one last year. Well, we'll see when the racing gets going. My apologies. Noah Osbaldeston is the driver I should be talking about, with drivers using different numbers to what they did in the last race as well, which is great news for me. But the pace car has now peeled in, and the first race of the night gets underway, and it is Jake Hewlett who leads the field, 3 abreast for second place, though, going into Copse Corner for the first time of asking, but it is Hewlett who holds the advantage. Noah Osbaldeston in that dark number 4 car, getting squeezed over to the far right-hand side of the circuit, I believe that was. And that was Stockton in their battle for second place, as that race leader Jake Hewlett just dips a wheel off the road, coming onto the back straight. Towards Brooklands we go. Hewlett with a clear advantage, but everybody else fighting for second place as they fan out across the circuit. So Hewlett leading by a car length or two as they head out of Luffield for the first time of asking. Noah Osbaldeston in second position, and Tortola is the man who's made good progress up 2 places. Tortola seems to have lost a couple of those places as I look at this lead gaggle of cars. Extraordinary stuff. And so Tortola, who was in a podium place at the timing line, has dropped a couple of those places already. This is what Formula V racing is like. Absolutely classic as they make their way down the back straight once again. Such a short lap at Silverstone National. Plenty of overtaking opportunities. Probably every corner you could consider an overtaking spot. Big dive on the inside from Jake Hewlett, I believe that was, to try and regain the lead of the race from Noah Osbaldeston, who sits tight onto the rear end of the pole sitter and erstwhile race leader, and even taking a little bit of the grass as well, as Trafford King, the championship leader, charges through into third position and very nearly making it 3 abreast as Hewlett is forced onto the outside, and is that Tortola who has forced his way through. Oh, bit of contact further back, one car going round, and that was Tortola. So the Formula V start has gone round. Sure, that's not how we would have wanted his nights to go, but it is Osbaldeston who leads as they make their way through Maggots and Beckett's. Right on board with Trafford King as it's 4 abreast going into Brooklands, and King deciding that discretion was by far and away the better part of valour there. So back through Woodcote once again. It is Stockton who leads. And 3 abreast again going into Copse Corner. Jake Hewlett just squeezing through on the inside, and that was very, very nearly a major drama there. And that is Alex Stockton, who just got pushed out there and comes out in 5th position. Or maybe it was Osbaldeston who ended up in 6th place there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, I think it was Osbaldeston who ended up going through. As Daniel Perry, the number 16 car, has come through. He started in 4th position, did that number 16 car. From Devon, but joining us from Jersey in the USA, the 116 Trophy and Road Sports racer. Once again, here with Stockton side by side with Perry. We've got a good view of the leaders as well, with Trafford King leading the way, Hewlett and Jackson Carden side by side for 2nd position, with Hewlett just coming out on top by a quarter of a car length out of Woodcote, but the slipstream belonging to Carden, but the tighter line for Hewlett, and he's just ahead of the timing line. 3 cars separated by less than a tenth of a second, as we're only a third of the way through this race. And once again, incredible racing as Hewlett just emerges out in front, coming out of Copse Corner. And 3 wide into Mackett's and Beckett's as well. Absolutely no fear in these guys. Oh, that's going to get very, very tight. 1 car ending up going a little bit wide. I think that was Jackson Carden. Through goes Hewlett. Hewlett tight to the inside, and Stockton taking positions as well away there from Trafford King, as Jackson Carden makes a move on the inside into Luffield, just squeezes his car through on the inside. Carden, the youngster who made his Type R Trophy debut earlier this year, having started in autograss racing. Meanwhile, lose out to Trafford King, who goes around the outside of Copse Corner. Oh, big contact, though, in the middle of Copse, and that looked like Jake Hewlett. Certainly Daniel Perry involved in that one as well, but our erstwhile race leader and our pole sitter, Jake Hewlett, with a drama and falling down the order. There he is, down in 11th position. Daniel Perry also coming off worst in that one. So then there were 3 by the looks of it. Trafford King, Jackson Carden, and James Ellis are the ones who have been able to come out on top in that one. But the championship leader losing out to Jackson Carden down the Wellington Straight. But James Ellis making it 3 wide and going the long way round at Brooklands. They're managing to take 2nd place away from Trafford King there, who tries the higher line, so to speak, through Luffield. And he just squeezes his car through the inside on the exit of the corner. He'll have a tighter line through Luffield as well. This is giving Carden just a little bit of breathing space, and Trafford King does indeed go back through into 2nd place and will now challenge for the lead with the slipstream down the old Grand Prix pit straight, and then into Copse once again. So the championship leader back to the front of the field, with Jackson Carden trying to squeeze through on James Ellis there as well. But we're going to go 3 wide once again into Maggots, and coming out on top of that, well, Trafford King's been usurped by both of them. Noah Osbaldeston has now arrived on the scene, the Sports 1000 racer. He'll be used to driving single-seater type machinery after his first year of car racing. So Carden leads on to the back straight and moving across there to cover off the attack of Trafford King, who's got so much speed down the straight. But oh, Noah Osbaldeston making 2. Can he make it 3? Oh my goodness, Noah Osbaldeston with a triple move. Very, very nearly. He'll come out of Luffield just ahead. Oh, extraordinary stuff from the youngster there. Oh, I wonder how deliberate that was. Extraordinary stuff. So Osbaldeston leads only just as they come onto the start and finish straight. It is now a 4-car battle for the lead, with about nearly 3 seconds back to James King. Make that 5 now, because Stockton is on this slot as well, and then about 2 seconds back to James King. Osbaldeston, and then Ellis and Carden going side by side again into Maggots and Beckett, and getting very, very tight to the rear of the race leader there was James Ellis, I believe. And straight we go, and Osbaldeston will come under heavy scrutiny here. Just under 6 minutes left to go in this race. And again, side by side into Brooklands, but Osbaldeston keeping it so tight to the inside. Trafford King managed to recoup one of those places. He has the inside line into Luffield as well, so that gets him the lead once again and usurps Osbaldeston, who's straight back into the slipstream. A big dart to the right-hand side. Oh, is there going to be enough space there? Definitely cutting the corner. I wonder how aggressive iRacing is going to be on that one. And normally it's only half a car width that you can put across there. Coming through the middle, James Ellis. That was going to be brave. Osbaldeston tighter into Copse Corner. And just about holds the advantage. Trafford King to the outside of Beckett and swoops the long way round. Great move there by the championship leader in that white and blue number 5 car. He leads onto the back straight. Battles happening all the way down the pack, further down in the top at 10. You see Jake Hewlett trying to make his way through the pack as well. And Arjun Salan, the DH racing mechanic in the Type R Trophy, very much involved in that battle in the number 1 car. These guys about a second away. Something happened there on with the leaders, I believe. Alex Stockton falling down the field, so something happened there at the front while we were watching this battle, and it means it's 4 for the lead now with 4 minutes to go. And looking at about 4 laps left, I'd say, as well, as Osbaldeston and King go side by side into Maggots and Beckett. Osbaldeston with the tighter line, King with the momentum though. And oh no! James Ellis getting pitched around by Jackson Carden as he moved across the front of the 96 car. And that has put James Ellis out of contention. So then there were 3. Goodness me, contenders starting to drop like flies as they get more and more aggressive in the latter stages of this race. There's Tortola taking 8th position away from Luca Monroe. I had confirmation after the Brands Hatch, no relation to John Monroe from Traction. Jackson Carden not getting the best run, it seems, later in that in the last couple of corners. 3 minutes to go then, and it seems like a straight fight now between Trafford King and Noah Osbaldeston, although I'm sure Jackson Carden will get onto the back of them if they squabble a little bit. James King, second in the championship, now up to 4th position, 1.6 seconds away from the leaders. That's not too far behind at all. Let's keep an eye on the leaders though. Trafford King and Noah Osbaldeston absolutely nose to tail as they make their way down the Wellington Straight out of Beckett. Osbaldeston into the slipstream. It's the Type R Trophy racer versus the Sports 1000 racer, and it is the youngster, the 17-year-old, who goes to the inside on that black number 4 car into Brooklands, takes the lead away from Trafford King. So you would think 2 laps to go potentially. It's a roughly 70-second lap, and we've got 120 of them left on the clock. So Osbaldeston leads. On to the penultimate lap of the race we'll go through Woodcote. Trafford King immediately trying to take the lead back again. Jackson Carden still within striking distance as well, just about half a second back from the leaders, as again we go side by side. Osbaldeston is able to move across the front of Trafford King's car, moving into Copse Corner, so doesn't have to defend the line. That means he gets a good run through here, but still King is able to attack on the exit of the corner. Here comes Jackson Carden as well, maybe just hanging back ever so slightly, but he is well with the leaders now as King. He's made this move a couple of times already, all the way around the outside of Beckett. This one doesn't quite work out for him as as well as it did before, because it's opened up the door for Jackson Carden, who gets the slipstream. We are 3 abreast once again onto the Wellington Straight. Nothing between these 3 cars. Carden in the middle, Osbaldeston on the outside, and King on the inside. Look how much space Osbaldeston is giving on the entry as King takes the lead. Osbaldeston going very, very wide on the way into Brooklands, leaving them as much space as humanly possible. So it's King, Carden and Osbaldeston with 2 seconds back to James King. They've got space to fight as we move on to the final lap of the race now through Woodcote for the penultimate time. It is Trafford King who leads going on to the final lap of the race. Noah Osbaldeston into the slipstream of Jackson Carden, the previous race leader. And it's Carden ahead, coming through Copse Corner for the final time with Trafford King right in his wheel tracks. Once again, he chooses to go to the left-hand side for the Maggots and Beckett's complex, the shortcut we take onto the Wellington Straight. And he's clear. He's able to chop the nose of Jackson Carden there, going through Beckett's. But he will be giving Carden and Osbaldeston a huge slipstream down the Wellington Straight for the final time. Osbaldeston, who was leading a lap ago and fell down into 3rd position at this part of the racetrack. The checkered flag will be out as the timer hits 0 now. Osbaldeston to the outside. Once again, King on the inside. It's a carbon copy of a lap ago, but it's Trafford King who just holds the advantage. Surely it's going to be a drag to the finish line, I'd have thought, as King keeps it so tied to the inside at Luffield, who's got the best run out of Luffield and through Woodcote. Trafford King leading by half a car length or so. Is he going to be able to just hang on to the advantage over Jackson Carden when they get to the checkered flag? He's keeping it so tight. Osbaldeston stoking up as much of the slipstream as he possibly can, but it will be Trafford King for the 3rd time this season ahead of Jackson Carden and Noah Osbaldeston in a fantastic opener to tonight's action in the Formula V's at Silverstone National. James King in 4th position with Jake Hewlett recovering up to 5th position in the end. Great stuff from him, and Arjun Salan on his debut in 6th position ahead of Luca Monroe, Andrew Cooper, Sean Rolfe and Daniel Perry completing the top 10. That was an absolutely cracking start to proceedings. The Formula V's providing all of the dramas that we would expect, and it is a 3rd victory of the season in only 4 races for Trafford King. I don't know how he keeps doing it. Less than a 1/10 of a second separating Jackson Carden and Noah Osbaldeston there. Last few cars coming across the line. Mark Crawford in 22nd position. Looks like some extra runners, some new faces as well. We've got Phil Keane, I think that is, at the back of the field, the Radical Racer. That is Trafford King kicking us off with victory. Jackson Carden, as he was in race 1 at Brands in the MX-5s as well. In fact, it's the same top 3 we had in race 1 for Brands Hatch with the MX-5s, but a very different story that got us there, though. Of course, plenty of contenders falling by the wayside. We had 7 or 8 of them fighting for the lead of the race earlier on, but one by one they began to fall with various different calamities and contacts to take them out of proceedings. Who was it that was 10th over the line? Daniel Perry, I believe it was. And so yeah, that means he will be on reverse grid pole, and we'll be going into things straight away by the looks of it. So Daniel Perry on reverse grid pole position. The former 116 trophy racer and road sports racer, and then Stanley Rolfe it is, excuse me, not Sean Rolfe, the 17-year-old from Buckinghamshire, the BMW Car Club racer, who shares the front row of the grid with him. Then Andrew Cooper, the former Formula Vee racer, now road sports racer with a dip into Type R's in between. Luca Monroe will also be on the second row of the grid, the Abruzzi prototype sim champion. And then Arjun Salan, newcomer for this weekend, the DH Racing mechanic. Jake Hewlett, who started on pole position for race 1, starts in 6th position. Then James King, 2nd in the championship going into this weekend. The former Armed Forces Race Challenge driver. Then it is Noah Osbaldeston, Jackson Carden and Trafford King are top 3 from the previous race, but keep an eye on the likes of Tortalla in 11th position, Alex Stockton as well in 13th position. They've got more pace than that grid position necessarily reflects. Tor and Nick Tuller, the lad and dad combination, not lad and granddad combination, as I potentially theorised last time out. So, race 2 of the Formula V's at Silverstone National gets underway with a lovely launch there from Daniel Perry. He leads by a car length over Stanley Rolfe. He's the son of Stuart Rolfe, who also races in the BMW Car Club. Thank you for that, Laura Rolfe, in the live chat room. Luca Monroe up into 3rd position. Jake Hewlett up into 4th, so he's made up 2 places. Noah Osbaldeston, the best starter of the front runners from race 1, though, up into 6th position and already looking at the back of Andrew Cooper. A bit of space in front of him to play with as Stanley Rolfe takes the lead of the race away from Daniel Perry, and Jake Hewlett looking to try and put himself into the lead of the race straight away by the looks of it at the end of lap 1. He's on the outside going into Brooklands, getting very tight to Daniel Perry's black number 16 car that holds the inside line, so manages to take the lead back again, does Perry, who started on pole position. Momentarily lost the lead there to Rolfe. Bit of dramas in Luffield further back with Mark Crawford. But Jake Hewlett now into the lead of the race at the end of lap 1. So from 6th to 1st in 1 lap, and here comes Noah Osbaldeston to go for, oh my goodness me, going from 5th to 1st. That's even better than what he did in race 1 with that epic move into Brooklands. He's managed to do another one into Copse this time. Noah Osbaldeston with another move of the night. Incredible stuff. He's only just going to hang on to it, though, because here comes Jake Hewlett around the outside. Daniel Perry still holding on to 3rd position there with Trafford King for very close company. As Hewlett leads now by a car length or so. Daniel Perry charging on the outside. Trafford King coming to Osbaldeston's left-hand side as well now. So Osbaldeston with cars either side of him going into Brooklands, and loses places to both of them in the end, although half a car length over Daniel Perry going into Luffield, but on the outside line the advantage goes to the Ginetta racer, G40 in road sports, which are expected to see more outings in next year. And here comes Trafford King now to show his nose for the lead of the race for the first time in this race number 2. Remember the result for this race. Oh, is that Daniel Perry going round? Yes, it is. And he's collected a couple other cars there, unfortunately, as well. Such a shame for Perry. He was having a cracking outing there. Side by side, though, between Hewlett and King. These are the 2 champions we've had so far in the 750 Motor Club Sim Racing world. Trafford King, the inaugural champion. Jake Hewlett, the champion of last year. And up until quite recently, the only race winners in this series. Osbaldeston splitting them as they come through Brooklands. Rolfe has got the best view of this, having to leave a lot of space for Andrew Cooper, I can only assume. So Hewlett holds the advantage. Osbaldeston splits the 2 champions as they head out of Luffield and through Woodcote. Trafford King pulling to the outside, so much more distance you have to cover though, and leaving all the room in the world for Hewlett and Osbaldeston, who will go side by side into Copse. Osbaldeston around the outside and manages to take the lead away from Jake Hewlett, who is not running away with things like he did last season. It felt like every single race weekend was just Hewlett taking the advantage. He is a coach in both the real and virtual world and a champion in both as well. So he's got all the credentials. Just holding on to the place ahead of Traffic King as Luca Monroe gets involved in this fight with Andrew Cooper and Alex Stockton. So Monroe to the outside, and we're 3 wide again for the lead going into Brooklands, with Osbaldeston just holding the advantage. Lovely undercut from Traffic King, very wide line. Oh, Hewlett with just about managed to keep his nose alongside Osbaldeston's car going into Luffield, and that has just given him the advantage, but Osbaldeston's got the momentum. So involved in this fight, Osbaldeston, Hewlett, King, Rolfe, Stockton, Monroe and Cooper. So it is 7 for the lead as we hit 1/3 distance in this second race of the night. And Hewlett coming out on top, coming out of Copse Corner, but not for very long. Osbaldeston and King both with momentum. So 3 abreast going into the Maggots and Beckett's complex once again. Luca Monroe. Got nowhere to go really, does he? He's got a sea of Formula V cars right in front of him. These are largely Beetle-based cars. Still we're 3 wide though, despite having gone through the right-hander, and King getting squeezed over to the grass by Osbaldeston. And that looks like it's given Stockton the run, or is it Stanley Rolfe who's charged through? No, it is Stockton into the lead. That black number 9 car that's gone from 5th to 1st down the cracking stuff from Stockton, and Hewlett hanging on to second place ahead of Trafford King. Stanley Rolfe. Now that I've said it wrong once, I'm going to keep saying it wrong. Stanley Rolfe showing his nose to Noah Osbaldeston. 2 of the young guns of this championship. 3 wide again into Copse Corner. Extraordinary stuff. Hewlett and Osbaldeston creating a wall of defence almost, but Stockton again with great momentum and takes both of them going into the Maggots and Beckett's complex, while Osbaldeston and Hewlett are occupied watching each other. And look how big of an advantage he's been able to pull. That's probably the biggest lead we've seen all night, and it's only 0.3 of a second. Monroe. Where can he show his nose in this? He's just met with a sea of Formula V cars. They go the long way round at Brooklands. It is Stanley Rolfe directly in front of him, who's just squeezing through on the inside of Traffic King and Andrew Cooper. Oh, bit of blinking from Cooper though. That's not going to be a welcome sight at all. Remember, Cooper, very experienced with these cars, spent 8 years or so competing in Formula V before moving on to the Type R trophy. A director at the 750 Motor Club as well, so if there's one driver in this field you don't want to get on the wrong side of. Jake Hewlett with the advantage at a Copse Corner and trying to pull clear of Alex Stockton, but Stockton holds the inside. So while Traffic King likes to go all the way around the outside of that long right-hander, Hewlett preferring to cut underneath him, and that's worked out very nicely for him because he's very much clear, and Osbaldeston with momentum as well, but Hewlett's actually giving the toe to his rival and is going to get boxed in there. It's almost like watching an American police chase where they've blocked him in front, left and rear. Oh no, contact for Noah Osbaldeston against Alex Stockton, and Osbaldeston goes round and is out of contention now. That was Osbaldeston around the outside of Brooklands and coming off worse after contact with Alex Stockton, fighting for second place there. So as it was in race 1, the first contender is down. How many more will follow as so far to the right-hand side of the pit wall into Copse Corner, and Stockton around the outside of Copse Corner takes the lead back again, but not for very long because Hewlett fights back on the exit of the corner. And Traffic King about to enter into the fight as well, and in fact has the inside line going into Maggots and takes it away from Alex Stockton there. More blinking for Andrew Cooper. It's just going to be so unnerving for everyone else in this battle, which is Luca Monroe and Stanley Rolfe. They are 2 seconds ahead of the next pack of cars, so they've got a bit of space to fight with 6 minutes left on the clock. King holding the advantage, but Hewlett's round the outside of Brooklands and now to the inside of the race leader at Luffield as well. Side by side again between the two champions of the 750 Motor Club Winter Sim Championship. And side by side still as they make their way around Woodcote, with Hewlett on the tighter line on the right hand side, Stockton in the slipstream of Trafford King, and we're with Stanley Rolfe down the start-finish straight, and I'm sure backing out of the toe because there's frankly too much slipstream around this circuit from these cars. So King still holding the lead side by side with Stockton and Hewlett, and Hewlett tighter to the inside. Oh, it's very wide there from Trafford King, and that will likely open up the door. But it's Stockton with the toe, and we'll just tuck in behind the race leader there. Maybe give Trafford a little bit of a bump draft. Oh, is that some lap traffic we're going to have to try and deal with as well? That could be very, very costly. Hewlett around the outside, but it's Stanley Rolfe who comes out in second place there. The silver number 36 car, the BMW racer, that comes through into second place. The 17-year-old from Buckinghamshire. Well, the son of the BMW racer, I should say. And now going for the lead on Trafford King, the championship leader. So Rolfe to the inside, 4 minutes left on the clock. Start thinking about how many laps are left in this race. There's a flurry of Beetle-based machinery makes its way into Maggots and Beckett's. Still some dust being kicked up, and look at that, King practically into the back of Stanley Rolfe's car, trying to get the cut back on him. Luca Monroe is now up into fourth position, that red number 56 car. Make that third now as he's out-dragged Jake Hewlett. And now going for the lead is Luca Monroe potentially. Oh no, big contact between Andrew Cooper and Jake Hewlett though. Hewlett at the fastest point of the racetrack, facing the wrong way as Luca Monroe and Stanley Rolfe fight for the lead going into Luffield. And it's Luca Monroe who holds the advantage on the inside line. The 29-year-old prototype champion in the sim world is Luca Monroe. And he's got, well, less than half a car length as they go over the timing line. 3 minutes left on the clock, so maybe 3 laps to go as we're 3 abreast into Copse Corner. Trafford King backing out of that one. Stanley Rolfe on the outside. Trafford King going through the middle now between Rolfe and Monroe. And Alex Stockton just holding back as well. Look at Noah Osbaldeston up into 5th position. Remember, he was spun round after contact with Alex Stockton earlier in the race. And he's only a second away from the lead battle. And he's bringing with him Holloway, James King, Cooper as well, who just had that contact with Jake Hewlett, and Paul Forsyth as well. So, goodness me, this is really turning into a cracking battle. Rich Holloway it is there in the 21 car, the 3D printer for the Alpine Formula 1 team. And look at this, Trafford King going for the lead now on Stanley Rolfe, side by side through Luffield as Luca Monroe is dropped down into 3rd position ahead of Alex Stockton. They've still got that back marker just in front of them, so they're not too terribly much quicker than them, but it's less than 2 minutes to go, and that will be 2 laps left on the clock. And Osbaldeston is right with the leading pack now. Extraordinary stuff. If he could even just finish on the podium after being pitched round earlier in the race. He's got 1 of them, he's going to go for 2 of them, he's going to go for 3 of them. Is Noah Osbaldeston about to take the lead of the race into Maggots and Beckett? Oh, I don't think he is quite just yet. Got too many cars in front of him, but goodness me, look at that, up into 3rd position now for Osbaldeston with a lap and a half remaining. An extraordinary race, and it's Rich Holloway. It's Holloway who somehow emerged in front. The 3D printer for the Alpine F1 team. He's about to lose out to Stanley Rolfe, though, as they go into Brooklands for the penultimate time. 4 abreast in this race. Oh, extraordinary stuff. Rolfe just holds the advantage. The youngster, the 17-year-old, out of Luffield for the penultimate time, just ahead of Noah Osbaldeston, who I'm sure is thinking about victory, but he's got Rich Holloway for very close company on the outside line, who's also got Trafford King for very close company, who's moved up into 4th position now, and Stanley Rolfe has got a 10th of a second's advantage. This is extraordinary. So Rolfe just holds on, but Trafford King coming around the outside of Copse Corner with 1 lap to go. Trafford King takes the lead, and Noah Osbaldeston trying to take 2nd place away, but Richie Holloway with the better advantage on the left-hand side of the circuit, getting boxed in behind the race leader, and so 2nd is what he'll have to settle for. In fact, settles for 3rd as Stanley Rolfe manages to get back on the inside, going into the Maggots and Beckett's complex, but Holloway with momentum. Oh, one car spearing off to the left-hand side there on the exit of the corner, and it's Luca Monroe. What a shame for him, but who is going to emerge out on top? Can Trafford King somehow make it back-to-back victories in a pair of extraordinary races? And Stanley Rolfe was pushing it. Stanley Rolfe around the outside. Richard Holloway was into the back of the race leader. Stanley Rolfe around the outside. Can he try and take the lead? Oh, I don't think he can. And Trafford King, just as he was in race number 1, is holding on to the advantage as the rest of the field is squabbling amongst themselves. He's got clear run, a clear bit of momentum. Who is going to be in 2nd place? Because Richard Holloway had good momentum. Stanley Rolfe, Noah Osbaldeston. Oh, Rolfe into the wall! Rolfe into the wall! Extraordinary at the checkered flag. Trafford King makes it back-to-back victories, but Richard Holloway will finish in 2nd place with Noah Osbaldeston in 3rd, despite being spun round earlier in that race. Oh, extraordinary stuff. That was a thriller. That was an absolute thriller. Goodness me. Stanley Rolfe into the wall at the checkered flag. Poor Stanley was on for 2nd or 3rd there and ends up 6th. Somehow Trafford King has made it back-to-back victories as well. Absolutely extraordinary. So Trafford King, Rich Holloway and Noah Osbaldeston, your top 3. Osbaldeston, a 3rd podium of the season for him. A 1st podium for Rich Holloway, the 32-year-old from Brackley. And as I said, working for the Alpine F1 team, but previously in the world of GT racing and rallying and rallycross. So a very diverse designer. Unbelievable stuff. As well, I will take this brief moment of pause to let you know, if you haven't been keeping an eye on the 750 Motor Club website, that the pre-season track day has been announced. So Sunday, the 8th of March at Donington Park, there will be testing available for tin tops and for single-seaters. There will be a Motorsport UK scrutineer and 750 Motor Club's staff on site to answer any questions that you may have. Newcomers are more than welcome to join us on that day for either for your testing or to answer any questions or to come and check it out. And if you've been watching this thinking, I'd like to give that a go in the real world, because remember, all of these races in this season, they are based off of real world 750 Motor Club formulas. So the Formula Vee Championship, representing the Sustained Fuels Formula Vee Championship. We've had the MX-5s out later. We'll have the Clio Sports, the BMW Car Club, and the Radical Club Challenge also represented through this season. If you head to the 750 Motor Club website, one of the first things you will see is a button that says Start Racing. And so you get all the information you need there to get your Go Racing pack from Motorsport UK for just £115. You can get your ARDS license as well from as little as £250. And all the information about where you can take your ARDS, where to get the right kit, all of that good stuff is there to find on the 750 Motor Club website, 750mc.co.uk. More than 20 formula to choose from: single-seaters, hot hatches, saloons, coupes, GT styles, prototypes, front-wheel drive, rear-wheel drive, sprint and endurance. The best value for money racing in the UK, and some of the best grid sizes as well. Final race of the day. And for some reason, Paul Forsyth is the car in second place. Now, supposedly the race 3 grid is based off of the race 2 results. And what I'm seeing there does not represent it at all. So I don't know if there were some penalties that were very rapidly applied. But seems to be the grid is Trafford King, Paul Forsyth, Stanley Rolfe, Jake Hewlett, Tortella, Luca Monroe, Jez Banks, who shares his real world car with Daniel Perry, Harry Pridding, Matthew Witherington, and Aaron Wolf, your top 10. For some reason, Rich Holloway, Noah Osbaldeston in 12th and 13th, and Stockton, King, Carden and Co. But, oh, look at that, dramas before we've even got going. Someone wasn't paying attention off the start. But for the third and final time tonight, we're racing. And, well, Trafford King, I believe it is, and it's Stanley Rolfe in second position. Jake Hewlett around the outside of Tortella, getting third position. And Stanley Rolfe going for the lead. Battle resumed between these two drivers just at the end of race 2 and now at the start of race 3. Stanley Rolfe taking the lead going into Beckett's, but King with great momentum on the outside. Look at Luca Monroe as well. Remember, he was taken out on the back straight on the final lap of the race, and he's up into 5th position. Jez Banks here, the number 8 car, the 47-year-old from Farnborough, road sports racer in their Ginetta G40. Taking a break from real world racing next year is Jez. Loses out to Luca Monroe, who takes 5th position. There's Hewlett and Tortella, who hasn't really shown his nose. Tortella 3rd in the championship going into this weekend. A bit of consistency of the first weekend of Brands Hatch. And we keep talking about the Formula Vee star. His father, also a former Formula Vee racer, but yet to really feature in tonight's racing. So it's Rolfe and Hewlett now going for the lead on Stanley Rolfe, with Tortella trying to make a move on Trafford King. Hewlett around the outside of Maggots and Beckett's, but doesn't quite get the same momentum that Trafford King was able to do, but still with good momentum. Of course, he's got the inside line going into Brooklands as well, and Stanley Rolfe ends up tucking back into the slipstream, and so Hewlett moves back to the right-hand side of the circuit to open up Brooklands, but that's allowed a car or two to get on the inside, with Trafford King trying to take 2nd place. Stanley Rolfe will hold the line going into the right-hander at Luffield. So one of those moves kind of worked for Trafford King, but actually Noah Osbaldeston showing his nose there as he gets ahead of Tortella. Jez Banks and Rich Holloway. So Holloway up a few places there, 5 positions I believe, from his starting spot. And Noah Osbaldeston now leads going into Copse Corner with another very impressive run down the start-finish straight. Takes that away from Stanley Rolfe, who gets a smidge of lead back on the outside. Looking very close there for Trafford King, as he's falling down the pack a little bit, now down into 6th position, because it's Jez Banks up into 3rd now. With a bit of a gap to the leaders though. Stanley Rolfe, Noah Osbaldeston side by side, making their way down the start-finish straight. That gap quickly disappears with the very powerful tow that these Formula Vee cars give off. 1300cc VW engine. In the real world, it's a free chassis design. The components largely from old Beetles. So Stanley Rolfe, no one in front of him, everyone behind him. How long will that last? Heading down the start-finish straight. Osbaldeston to the outside of Copse Corner. Great to see you holding our breath. It's the Noah Osbaldiston and Trafford King it is who comes through and takes the lead going into Maggots and Beckett's. Seemingly already got some lap traffic might have to deal with. Potentially just up the road. Down the back straight. Some drivers backing out of manoeuvres and yielding places. It's so hard to call pack racing like this when you're getting 3-4 abreast around Maggots and Beckett's. Osbaldiston with the advantage through Luffield, then King, then Rolfe. Richard Holloway and Jake Hewlett scrapping for 4th position, with Hewlett on the outside line. Jez Banks with his best performance of the season so far, must be said. Focusing on running his classic touring cars next year is Jez, after sharing a Ginetta GT4 car with Daniel Perry this year in the Road Sports Championship, a multiple Burkett Relay class winner. A former 116 trophy racer as well is Jez, 4th position. Oh, look at that contact with Luca Monroe. That's his 2nd contact of the day, and Rich Holloway, who went round going into Maggots and Beckett's. So they drop out of contention. It's now just the 9 going for the lead. Well, may as well turn off. Osbaldiston and Rolfe creating a wall across the circuit that no one can penetrate. Oh, running very, very wide there was Noah Osbaldiston, off the circuit, in fact. So he drops all the way down to 9th position. Looked like he just got a bit too hot into the corner as Stanley Rolfe leads by a couple of car lengths. Now that's the biggest lead we've seen all night. A mammoth 0.4 of a second as we have 9 minutes left on the clock, and immediately it's halved when they get halfway down the straight. Jake Hewlett zooming up to the back of him, and the gap non-existent when they get through Copse. Jackson Carden in this fight as well now, the number 92 car. Coming through on the inside, trying to take the lead now, in fact. But, oh no, Stanley Rolfe getting tagged there by Jake Hewlett going into Maggots and Beckett's, and round goes Stanley Rolfe, the youngster who got pitched into the wall at the checkered flag at the end of race 2, and now, well, not in the wall, but about halfway through race 3 is in calamities once again. So another one bites the dust as Jez Banks now takes the lead for the first time. Not for very long though, because Trafford King is straight back down the inside, takes it back again. And King will have to go the long way round, the Type R Trophy champion of this year. And he does just about hang on to it. Osbaldiston, despite that wide moment, a lap or so ago, still well in this fight there in 7th position, just waiting for his moment to strike. That's what people don't talk about in this kind of racing. It's not about pure speed, it's all tactical racing, and realising where your strengths are, where you can pounce on the drivers around you, and knowing the crucial moment when to deploy that manoeuvre on the final lap of the race. Jez Banks trying to take the lead back from Trafford King on the outside line. Now we've got some lap traffic involved here, right in front of the race leader. And in fact, I think King gave him a little bit of a nudge there, in fact. And so the yellow and red car, I think we can ignore it. Oh no! And it's ended up tagging several cars there. I think that was Jackson Carden who went round and very nearly took with him the race leader, who now goes round after more contact. Trafford King smash as well into Brooklands, and that is Trafford King's first major drama of the season. Well, they do just start dropping out of contention, don't they? So it's Jez Banks and James King and Tortalla, Noah Osbaldiston and Jake Hewlett who are left to fight. 4.5 seconds clear of Stanley Rolfe, who, remember, was in contention, and he got pitched round as well. So, goodness me. To the inside, James King leads out of Copse Corner. 6.5 minutes left on the clock. Into Maggots and Beckett's once again. Noah Osbaldiston now into 2nd place ahead of Jez Banks. This is a prime opportunity here for Osbaldiston to try and close in on the championship leaders, 4th in the standings on 45 points to Traffic King's 84. It's 30 for the win. This is an opportunity here for Osbaldiston to try and close in on his rival, who he's had so many on-track battles with in the races we've had so far this season, as Jez Banks fights on the inside on that green car. And then Osbaldiston with the title line going into Luffield. And in fact, James King fancies a run of that as well in the red and blue car. He'll have the title line through Woodcote as well. Now, side by side with Tortulla. Now in contention. Only one podium finish to... Oh, sorry, the 2 podium finishes to Tortulla's name. Races 2 and 3 at Brands Hatch in the MX-5s. But still in 4th position for now. Osbaldiston holding the advantage. Just finished his first year of car racing at Hasnoa in the Sports 1000 Championship. Took his maiden win towards the end of the championship at Brands Hatch on the Indy layout. The 17-year-old from Bury St Edmunds. Be moving on to pastures new for 2026. Meanwhile, James King, the former Armed Forces Race Challenge podium finisher. And then Tortulla, the low-cost racer. And hey, look at that, into the back of James King down the start and finish straight. That was on the heftier end of bump drafting. 4 minutes left in this race. And 5 drivers in contention for the victory, as Osbaldiston leads James King, Tortulla, Jake Hewlett and Jez Banks. Jake Hewlett, the champion of last season, Type R Trophy champion as well. James King now making his move on the inside line, going into Brooklands on Noah Osbaldiston, takes the lead away. So the AFRC racer moves past the Sports 1000 racer. No objections into Luffield. Potentially 3 laps to go when we go across the timing line. Just over 3 minutes left on the clock. 3 cars separated by absolutely nothing. Osbaldiston tries to take it back straight away on the inside line. Tortulla thought about the manoeuvre on the outside, but tucks in behind James King. So Osbaldiston takes it back on the inside, going into Copse Corner at that black number 4 car. Back into Maggots and Beckett's we go. And nothing still separating Osbaldiston and King. And in fact manages to pull a couple of car lengths, using all the road and a little bit more, as Jake Hewlett tries to get himself back onto the podium now. I don't remember the last time I saw Jake Hewlett struggle this much in anything. As look at that, the toe again, so strong there for James King, and back on the inside he goes through. That's the 2nd lap in a row we've seen that. Tortulla holding on to 3rd position as well. So this is what I mean, we're starting to see those practice runs. Because there's so few contenders left now, not the 8 or 9 we saw earlier on, it's easier to start planning those moves. So Osbaldiston knows he's got good momentum onto the start-finish straight. And look at that, he would just pip James King to the timing line. So it is 2 laps to go then. Jez Banks at the back of this train doesn't seem quite able to just show his nose into it. Maybe he's saving something for the last lap. Osbaldiston leads with 2 to go. And now Hewlett making his move for 3rd position as they go either side of King. Doesn't manage to overlap King going into Maggots, but does manage to get past Tortulla and up into 3rd position. That could start to disrupt things. Down the Wellington Straight for the penultimate time Osbaldeston, King and Hewlett. And it is the defending champion who pulls to the outside, as does King. He goes into the middle. Osbaldeston onto the far left-hand side of the circuit. Will he be able to hold the advantage going into Brooklands? Yes, he does. Somehow, no position changes. But King is forced to leave a V-sized gap on the inside for Jake Hewlett into Luffield, who manages to just about squeeze through, does he? They're level pegging on the exit of the corner. They're going through Woodcote. Hewlett will have the tighter line and surely a bit of slipstream from the race leader as well. Yes, he does. So onto the penultimate lap of the race we go now. Jake Hewlett up into second place. Will he go for the lead now in his first victory of the season on his return to the championship? Into Copse Corner we go. Osbaldeston and Hewlett fighting for the win. James King with momentum as well. 3 abreast on the exit of Copse Corner, and James King is the one with the best run going into Maggots and Beckett's. He takes the lead back. And Osbaldeston is now pushed down into third position at the start of the final lap here. King going very, very wide. Now that'll give him momentum, but Hewlett will have the tow. Here's Jez Banks. He's got the best view of this. Soaking up the slipstream from Tortola. King leads. Osbaldeston going for second. Look at Tortola. Look at Tortola going around the outside in that number 90 car. James King with the lead. Hewlett going for second place on the inside of Osbaldeston. He manages to hold on to it. It's going to be a drag to the checkered flag, I'm sure. Somehow Tortola wasn't able to use that run he had going into Brooklands. Osbaldeston tighter on the exit of the corner. Can he just snatch second place away from Jake Hewlett as we head up towards the checkered flag? It's going to be James King for the first time in this, for the second time in the 750 Motor Club Winter Sim Championship, and Osbaldeston by less than a tenth of a second pips Jake Hewlett to the line for second place. So it's 3 podiums in 3 races for Osbaldeston. The win continues to elude him though, but James King building on from his race 2 victory in the MX-5s at Brands Hatch. And he takes victory in the final race of the night for the Formula V's at Brands. Noah Osbaldeston in second place, his best finish of the season. And Jake Hewlett, sounds bizarre to say, first podium of the season. Well, what a night. What an extraordinary night of racing. Trafford King extending his championship advantage. Where did he cross the line? Because remember, he was taken out, or was it, well, let's say involved in contact. Trafford King 13th in the end over the line. So certainly that will have hurt his championship hopes somewhat. Hopefully we'll still be able to hear from Trafford and from James, and hopefully a couple other drivers potentially. Oh no, in fact we won't be able to, unfortunately, which is a real shame. But wow, what an extraordinary end to the second meeting of the season for the 750 Motor Club Winter Sim Championship, powered by Gridfinder. We are back on the 30th of December for the final race of the year, but not of the season. Clio's at Snetterton 300. We'll see you then.